Have you ever wanted to learn to cook but just didn't know where to start?
Well, we're the guys from Sorted Food and we've teamed up with Co-op to create Now Cook It.
A free online course to show you how to up your food game.
So head over to Now Cook It to get started, but for now, check out this video from the course.
Steak and wedges. Is there a better sounding dinner in the world?
Not convinced.
No. Well, today we're going to learn how to cook it and the skills of roasting, frying, and the timing to help bring it all together at the right time.
Timing of time.
Yes.
Which is why we're going to begin with the thing that takes the longest, which is not time, but potatoes. Time comes later.
Right.
First of all, you want to preheat your oven nice and hot, 220 degrees Celsius, and then you want enough potato to have a good handful per portion. So that's either one large one per person or two about this size. Okay. All we can do is cut them into wedges. So literally, cut them in half using the bridge method so your fingers are out the way, and then each of those halves we're going to cut in half again. And then each of those quarters we're going to cut in half again, this time at a slight angle so you end up with lots of equal sized wedges. And before we roast off our potatoes, we're going to flavour them. If they're particularly wet or starchy potatoes, you might want to pat them dry, but these are actually quite waxy anyway. And then we're going to add some rosemary. So just strip it back along the stalk and add that. You could use dried, but fresh is better. 2 cloves of garlic, literally just smashed. Keep them in their peel though, because that's going to protect them in the oven and stop them burning. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and then a little seasoning.
And if you don't feel like you have the skills to, do that, just get your hands in or do that. That's also a good tip.
We're going to lay these out onto a non-stick baking tray. Make sure they're all separated out so they're not touching each other. They've got room to go crispy. And they are going to go into an oven, 220 degrees Celsius, for half an hour. After 15 minutes, we're going to give them a flip over and add 2 vine tomatoes onto the tray. So this is all about timing.
Okay.
We want it all to be served together, but the potatoes take twice as long. Now that we've flipped our wedges and we've got the tomatoes on the tray, we've got about 15 minutes before we're ready to serve, so we can start to concentrate on steak.
My favourite bit.
This is 2 sirloin steaks, but you can choose whatever steak you want. Rump is great, ribeye, you might want fillet if you want it super lean. However, whatever steak you're doing, make sure you allow it to come up to room temperature. This has been out of the fridge, covered for about an hour, so it's at room temperature. A much better way to cook steak, and then it's important you season it when it's raw.
There's a few different ways to cook steak, isn't there?
Yes, we are going to fry it, but in butter. Okay, so it's kind of not a really high searing heat like a cast iron pan, which you could also do. This, we're going to add butter into a medium heated pan, and what we want to do is wait until it's all melted and it's just started to get to the foamy stage. And a steak this thick, you're probably going to want 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes on either side, if you're looking for it about medium.
Okay, and can we show the differences between medium and rare?
Yes, so we've done a whole article on all the differences you can see. However, today, the best way to do it is once it's cooked, is have a little bit of a poke.
Okay.
So what you're looking for is this muscle here.
Yep.
If you have all your fingers open, that is rare.
Okay, so that's what the steak will feel like when you press it.
If you hold your first finger, it's medium rare,
okay,
medium well, and well done. You can see it feels a lot more firmer.
It's getting harder, isn't it?
That's about as close as you can get if you're looking at it by touch.
Okay.
Butter is foaming, steaks can go in. If it's a hot pan, you always put things in and it'll drop it away from you. Just lower it in, and that foaming butter will give it about 90 seconds before we flip it over. Now in the last 30 seconds of cooking, you can do one more thing that just makes your steak awesome, and that's to place in just a little bit of thyme in there, just fries in the butter, and then if you just baste that over the steak, it smells incredible.
It does, and so that just takes us to the next level.
The next thing to do is to rest it. Everyone's heard about resting steaks. It is so crucial.
And what does it do when you rest the steak?
So the outside is a lot hotter than the middle, which we hope is still a little bit pink. So it's temperature equalisation. It lets it all kind of even out so it's all equal. And then when you cut into it, it doesn't tend to sort of bleed everywhere quite so much. And you want to rest it for about as long as you've cooked it, a steak this size. So we're going to put the butter over the top. Then we're going to cover it with tin foil and we're going to leave it for about 4 minutes. Once it's rested, that's what you're looking for. So it's nice and pink
Yeah.
all the way through. Pile on some of our posh wedges. And finish it with some fresh thyme. And there you go. Everything you need to know to make potato wedges and perfect steak.
Good steak does not need a carving knife.
Cuts like butter. Beefy, but the thyme and the butter, well seasoned, just makes it so good, like a restaurant steak.
Whether you decide to have this for breakfast, lunch or dinner,
Or in your case, all three.
it's going to be great.
If you want to make sure you get the most out of your steak though, you want to follow all of the recipe and details which you can get down below.